are here at BroadwayCon 10. We're getting ready for All In. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda and crew, who is so excited because it's also 10 years of Hamilton. I went to a panel yesterday, which was really awesome. Today we have Aneesa Folds, we have Joshua Henry, and right now we're listening to Wicked, which, of course, we know that Lin loves. But what was really cool was getting to see In the Heights filmed in Washington Heights. Seeing that opening number in the streets was so much fun. And then Linda, who is filming this, we got to do a Heights tour together and kind of get the Twitterico fam. So it's really great reuniting here at BroadwayCon. And check out my whole bwaySHO vlog. It's bwaySHO. Thanks for watching. See you at the show.
Hey Broadway fans, what's up? I am so thrilled today to be here with you. First off, I'm Frank DiLella. I'm from New York One News here in the city. I cover Broadway and off-Broadway day in and day out. And I'm so thrilled to be here because when my buddy Lin-Manuel Miranda calls and asks, will I host a creative talk about his entire career, the answer is absolutely yes. So ladies and gentlemen, you know him. He's a Pulitzer Prize, Grammy Award-winning, Tony Award-winning, Emmy Award-winning superstar, the one, the only, Lin-Manuel Miranda. He said, what up, Broadway Con? Uh-oh. So Lin, I figured we'd just kick our conversation off with, obviously we all love theater, we all love Broadway, we all love musical theater in this room. When did you first fall in love with the theater, with Broadway?
At TISS.
Sorry?
At TISS School of the Arts.
Oh, thank you. You guys know the answers. All right, good night. So listen, I think for me it was, it started with cast albums. My parents had an amazing vinyl collection of cast albums, and I remember seeing my mom would bump Camelot at top volume in the Subaru,
Camelot.
Man of La Mancha, so they found Guinevere. And then the first show I saw was Les Miserables. When I was 7 years old, 7 is a debatable age to see Les Miserables. I remember crying when Fantine died. I remember laughing at the Thénardiers. I remember taking a little nap, because I was 7. I remember seeing Gavroche and low-key being furious, because I was like, kids are allowed to be on Broadway? And just why can I not be up there already? And then I remember waking up in time for Javert's final moments when he goes, there is no way to go on, and then the music met him there, ba 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 ba. And I remember being so amazed by that. Like, oh wow, the music met him at the key change of his death. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. So that was a very formative one.
Did you always want to write musical theater, or did you want to be an actor first?
No, I wanted to be Gavroche.
Very specific.
And then I wanted to be, and then I think like most people, Broadway's expensive, and I only saw a couple of shows before I started doing school theater. And when I started doing school theater, that's when the floodgates opened for me of like how much was possible. So here's my school theater career. In 6th grade, I have a near lethal dosage of 6 musicals that we did 20-minute versions of. So I'm the Son and Fiddler, I was a cowboy in Oklahoma, I was an Adderpearl backup in The Wiz, I was Captain Hook, Bernardo, and Conrad Birdie.
What a season!
What a season, and it's 4 hours long, and our parents had to watch it, and we're gonna do it tonight! I'm just kidding. And then in high school, I was in Pirate King and Pirates of Penzance. It was Judas and Godspell. I assistant directed Chorus Line, and I directed West Side Story. And then what happened in my junior year was really significant, which was that Rent came out and I saw it on my 17th birthday. And that was the thing that made me go from just loving musicals to writing musicals, because all the musicals I've listed take place in some other time and in some other land, and I didn't see any access point for me to be able to write one. And then here comes Jonathan Larson, who writes a musical about right now, about our city, about gentrification, about living with HIV/AIDS, and being scared of dying, and being scared of selling out as an art. It was like all the things I was thinking about, and that was the show that gave me permission to start writing.
So you head to Wesleyan,
Yeah.
and you start writing, and you start working on a little show that ultimately becomes In the Heights.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that experience, Lynn.
Sure. I think a couple of things happened. So I wrote these two musicals in high school, and because I loved Rent, they sound like a kid trying to write his version of Rent. Like they're okay for a 17, 18-year-old, but they're like rockish musicals. And then I get to Wesleyan, you know, I'm one of a small percentage of Latinos in the school, and my sophomore year I lived in a house called La Casa del Visu Campos. And that was a program house for Latino community leaders. You had to write an essay to get into the house. And I'm suddenly there with a lot of kids like me who not only are maybe first in their family to go to college or first or second generation in this country, but have also navigated the same kind of code switching I have. Like, we grew up with both American culture and the very specific Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican, Latinidad that we grew up in our homes. And that, I think, having friends that were fluent in everything like I was, culturally, gave me permission to just start writing In the Heights. And I wanted to write a full-length musical. It was an 80-minute one-act. And the only thing the college version shares with the version you might have seen on Broadway or in the movie is 5 notes. In Washington Heights, everything else has changed. And we really, there was the 80-minute one act. There was me working alone with Tommy, Tommy Kail, right out of college for about a year. In the basement of the drama bookshop, and then we started getting the people we needed to make it the best version of itself. So Alex Lacamoire comes aboard, Kiara comes aboard to write the libretto, and that's when the version really starts, because Kiara really cared about really making the community a character, and then we were really, and it's a very short distance from Kiara joining us in 2004 to us opening off Broadway in 2007, and so we opened at a theater that no longer even exists, 37 Arts, off Broadway, and we moved to Broadway in 2008, and I know that we froze the show off Broadway almost exactly 18 years ago because Kiara gave birth to her daughter the day we froze the show. Wow. We froze the show, she was really pregnant, we went to Burgers and Cupcakes for dinner, and her water broke on the way back. And I know Cecilia had her 18th birthday last week, so I will always know that day.
And of course, In the Heights opens on Broadway, makes Lin-Manuel Miranda a Tony Award-winning superstar, and the rest is history, as they say. Speaking of In the Heights, I think we have a little moment from In the Heights you would like to share with our audience today.
Yeah, so I pulled a total bait and switch on BroadwayCon, you guys. I told them I'd be talking for an hour, but I decided to call my friends to sing you songs instead. I would have needed 20 people to sing songs that span all the songs I've written over the course of my career, but when you call Aneesa Folds and Josh Henry, that is like having 10 people. I also call my old friend Shockwave from Freestyle Love So Pretty. So please welcome Kurt Crowley, the genius Kurt Crowley on keys, Aneesa Folds, Josh Henry, Shockwave. And the first song I'm going to sing for you tonight is When the Sun Goes Down from In the Heights.
When the sun goes down, you're gonna need a flashlight, you're gonna need a candle. I think I can handle that. When you leave town, I'm gonna buy you a calling card, 'cause I am falling hard for you. I go back on Labor Day. I will try to make my way out west to California. So we've got this summer, and we've got each other, perhaps even longer. When you're on your own, suddenly without me, will you forget about me? I couldn't if I tried. I'm all alone, and I close my eyes. That's when I'll see your face again. And when you're gone, you know that I'll be waiting when you're gone. But you're here with me right now. If we should drift apart, let me take this moment just to say that you're gonna change the world someday. And I'll think of you every night at the same time. When the sun goes down, when the sun goes down, when the sun goes down.
Couple of things about that song. One, we've added the sunrise section from the movie. I hope you noticed, which, again, was John Chu's idea, and it's such a genius idea that I now can't picture the song without that sunrise section. We couldn't dance up the side of a building for you in this space, unfortunately, but that's, he's so brilliant, and we've all got to appreciate his brilliance this season with the Wicked movie. The other thing that I'm sitting here and like my life is flashing before my eyes. One, Josh understudied Chris Jackson in the original company. I remember when Robin DeJesus said, "Yo, I just did this production of Godspell in Connecticut, and there's a kid named Josh Henry, and he's the truth, and you have to get him in the audition room immediately." And the rest is history. Sorry.
So amazing, Josh Henry. So you do In the Heights. Your next Broadway show is Bring It On. And speaking of Josh Henry, Josh Henry was a part of that, even though he wasn't on stage, right?
That's correct. So Bring It On, as you know if you are alive, is set in the world of competitive cheerleading. And I co-wrote it with the great Tom Kitt and Amanda Green. And the fun of it was you really have to write this like electronic dance music. That's what cheerleading is all about. And so it gave us the opportunity to have singers who are not in the show kind of pre-record the tracks that they're dancing to. And so it was another opportunity to bring Josh in the room, even though he wasn't in that show. And the other fun thing, that, we're gonna sing another song from that for you tonight because it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written, and there's never an opportunity to do it, and I'm really grateful Broadway Con gave us the opportunity. But my first draft of this song, it's the only time my wife Vanessa has ever been on a demo. Because in the world of cheerleading, if you step over the line, the square that they're cheerleading in, like you get a deduction. And originally my wife's voice was on the demo as the deduction robot. So anytime they'd step over, and they do it consciously because they're like, expressing themselves. And so they step over the line, you'd hear deduction. Deduction. That was my wife's role on the original demo. But we're thrilled to sing Cross the Line for you tonight. If you have us. Imagine Brooklyn and Lauren flying through the air while we're singing it, and I'm gonna have to sing harmony on this because we're not a full. We're trying. It's as close to a full squat as we're gonna get.
All right, y'all, you ready?
So I went to the Borders in Columbus Circle, R.I.P. Borders. I love biographies. I'm actually not a big history buff, but I am a big biography buff. I love just spending a whole book in someone else's life. And so, you know, I had written a paper on Hamilton in high school, gotten a B- on it. I knew just enough to be intrigued by this very well-reviewed book by Ron Chernow called Alexander Hamilton. I start reading it. I actually told my friend Jeremy McCarter about it like the week before we left. But then as I'm reading it on vacation, I immediately just Googled Alexander Hamilton musical because I couldn't believe no one had done it. And I got a lot of entries about Hamilton, Ontario, in Canada. Okay, all right, Ontario. And then I got to work.
So I remember when you were writing this, and I remember being at dinner with you at your agent's house, John Mazzetti's house, and you kind of disappeared that summer day, and then you came back.
We were staying at his house.
Yes, and you were like, I'm gonna play for you a song about Thomas Jefferson. And that night you said that this was for like a concept album you were doing, and I asked you, "Are you going to be in it?" And you're like, "No, Frank, I'm not going to be in it." So when did it go from concept album to an actual production? And yes, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to play Hamilton.
I think very gradually. Yeah, I wrote "What Did I Miss" at my agent's house, and Frank was there. So that was a moment. Mostly pool time, but then I would go away and write. And I think for me it was helpful to think about it as an album because of the way I listen to hip hop. I listen to the hip hop I love. I get more and more each time I listen to it, but the thing that's drilled into your head when you're writing for musical theater is clarity, and everyone's got to get everything the first time. And that's true, but at the same time, I wanted the lyrics to be dense enough that the 5th time you hear it, the 6th time you hear it, the 10th time Howard hears it and is preparing a presentation on it at Broadway Con.
Yes, Howard!
He hears new stuff about it. And so I just, like, it helped me to think about it as an album because I knew I could just really pack it in. And then I became Hamilton really out of, like, expediency. It was sort of easier for me to do it than to teach it to anybody else. And I was very grateful for Javier Munoz, who had played, yes, he'd been Usnavi after me. We worked on that role together, and he'd step out and I could watch, he'd do the show and I would watch it with him in it. And we basically did that again for Hamilton. Like I would step out, watch him do it, come in, and that's how we figured the role out.
Obviously, Hamilton turned into a phenomenon. It's still going strong, literally right outside this room. Coming up with the 10th anniversary, right? We talked a lot about this, your love of Sondheim, your love of Andrew Lloyd Webber, and both of those folks are very much in this piece. Can you just talk about your influence? Yeah, well, I think Hamilton has some, it's one of those things where the grandparents' resemblance is very clear. And I think it has 4 grandparents. With In the Heights, I always look to the shows that I love for inspiration, particularly structurally. And In the Heights is about a community, so you have to look at the greatest community musical ever written, which is Fiddler on the Roof. And yeah, Cabaret by Kendra and Ebb, also about a community like changing, like with this change from the outside, and how do people react to that external force. With Hamilton, Hamilton's the engine. Like, he is the engine, and everyone is either with him or against him, or with him and then against him. But he is this propulsive thing, and so you look to the shows where it's one character who just like barrels through. And so the parents for me for the show are Sweeney Todd, Jesus Christ Superstar, and yeah, those are the ones that were Gypsy, because like you're with Mama Rose or you're against her. And we really looked at characters with really strong shows with really strong central characters. And particularly Jesus Christ Superstar, you've got Judas as the narrator. You can see that kind of become Aaron Burr becoming Hamilton's narrator. And of course, like, the introduction to Hamilton owes so much to the prologue of Sweeney Todd. Like, everyone comes and says, we're gonna tell you the story, but you don't know who they are yet, and they don't specify until the end of the opening number, and we really learned from that in terms of the opening number of Alexander Hamilton, which originally was just going to be Burr. That's how I sang it at the White House in 2008, and then we realized it could hold all our characters, and so we split it up and kind of democratized it. I love it. Well, I think we have a moment from Hamilton you'd like to share. Yes, one of our all-time great Burrs, who opened not one but 2 companies. He opened the Chicago company and the first national tour in LA. Josh Henry's going to sing "Wait for It," y'all.
Yeah!
But since we don't have all the echoes, can you be the echoes?
Yeah!
All right, let's get it. Theodosia writes me a letter every day. I'm keeping the bed warm while her husband is away. He's on the British side in Georgia, trying to keep the colonies in line. Well, he can keep all of Georgia. Theodosia, she's mine. Love doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes, and we keep loving anyway. We laugh and we cry and we break and we make our mistakes, and if there's a reason so many have tried. What? I'm willing to.
Wait for it.
I'm willing to.
Wait for it.
Yeah. My grandfather was a fire and brimstone preacher.
A preacher, a preacher, a preacher.
But there are things that the homilies and hymns won't teach you.
Teacher, teacher, teacher.
My mother was a genius.
Genius.
Father commanded respect.
Respect.
When they died, they left no instructions, just a legacy to protect. Death doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes and it takes and it takes, and we keep living anyway. We rise and we fall and we break and we make our mistakes. And if there's a reason I'm still alive when everyone who loves me has died, then I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to wait for it. Wait for it. I'm the one thing in life I can't control. I am in the middle, I am in original. And I'm not falling behind or running late. I'm not standing still, I'm not in ways. Hamilton faces an endless uphill climb. He has nothing to prove, he has nothing to lose. Hamilton's pace is relentless, he wastes no time. What is it like in his shoes? Hamilton doesn't hesitate, he exhibits no restraint. It takes and it takes and it takes, and he keeps winning anyway. Changes the game, plays and he raises the stakes. And if there's a reason he seems to thrive and so few survive, then God damn it, I'm willing to wait for it. I'm willing to, yeah. Life doesn't discriminate between the sinners and the saints. It takes, it takes, it takes. We rise and we fall, and if there's a reason I'm still alive, so many have died. I'm willing to wait for it.
That was Joshua Henry singing Wait For It at BroadwayCon. See you at the show.
So Lynn, so Moana. Moana brings you into the Disney world, if you will. And I'm just curious, were you think about, we're around the same age, and you think about the Disney movies of our childhood, the Alan Menken, Howard Ashman collaborations like Mermaid and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. How
is the reason I'm here talking to you. Because I saw a Caribbean Calypso number when I was 9 years old underwater, and my brain exploded, and the pieces still haven't come back together. It was the most formative, most transported I'd ever felt in a movie, and I wore out my Beauty and the Beast, and I wore out my Aladdin. Like, those were my and also Little Shop of Horrors. Like, Ashman Menken were like my guys. And so when I interviewed for the job, it was before Hamilton had come out, and it was the directors of the original Little Mermaid. It was Ron and John, and I went in there and said, I'm here because of you. I'm writing music because you made that movie, and I was very lucky to get the job. I found out I got the job the same day I found out we were having our first child, baby's been lessons, and then I was basically writing it while I was in Hamilton, because I got hired in 2014, in spring of 2014, and then, so all my demos are all Hamilton alums. So Pippa Sue sang the first How Far I'll Go, Chris Jackson sang all of the Maui stuff, and then he also got to play Moana's dad on the album, but the demos were terrible because I'm singing into like my headphones in my dressing room, but I happen to have world-class singers around me. So Hamilton and Moana are very much born like at the same time. They're siblings.
I mean, you're a creative genius. you talk about doing Hamilton at the same time writing Moana. You know, as an artist, how do you tackle everything all at once? Like, how does your brain work? Let's get into your brain for a second.
Well, I think that for me, the weird thing about Hamilton, and Josh can attest to this too, is it requires all of your focus. It's actually a yoga. Like, you can't be anywhere but inside of Hamilton once you're in Hamilton. If you space out for a second, someone's gonna hit you in the head with a chair. You're gonna fall off one or two turntables. So that was, while the Hamilton mania was starting and it was getting harder to get in the building, and like, just because people wanted to be around it for the best of reasons, like, my refuge became writing Moana and doing the show. And so, you know, I wasn't going to parties, I wasn't going to like hang out with all the crazy famous people who were coming to see the show. I had songs to do. So I'm grateful it came when it did, because it kind of kept all the noise outside. I was like, all right, great that that's happening literally outside the building, but I have to figure out what this crab sounds like. So I was every time I get a show up, I mourn writing it. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm done writing it. I have a little kind of like post-blues. I remember feeling that very acutely because I'd spent 8 years writing Heights, and then I suddenly wasn't writing in Heights anymore. And with Hamilton, there was no time for that. I had Moana songs too.
Well, speaking of Moana songs, that's a great segue for Aneesa, right?
Yes, let's do it. Aneesa Folds to see how far I'll go.
Yes! Oh my goodness.
I've been staring at the edge of the water long as I can remember, never really knowing why. I wish I could be the perfect daughter, but I come back to the water, no matter how hard I try. Every turn I take, every trail I track, every path I make, every road leads back to the place I know where I cannot go, where I long to be. See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. I know everybody on this island seems so happy on this island. Everything is by design. I know everybody on this island has a role on this island, so maybe I can roll with mine. I can lead with pride, I can make us strong. I'll be satisfied if I play along with the voice inside sings a different song. What is wrong with me? See the light as it shines on the sea, it's blinding, but no one knows how deep it goes, and it seems like it's calling out to me, so come find me and let me know what's beyond that line. When I cross that line, the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know how far I'll go.
So Moana obviously happens.
It was my first attempt into animation, actually. I met with the folks at DreamWorks, and this is back right after Heights. I told them it's my dream to write an animated musical, and we went down the road with this story called Vivo that was written by a writer named Peter Barzicchini. And it had a totally different plot line, but I'd written a bunch of songs for it, and it just never got made. Like many projects, like we wrote a bunch of songs, we got it as far as we could go, and they said we're not making it, and we said okay. So then once Hamilton happened, everyone was like, we love Hamilton, what else do you have? And I was like, I got a trunk full of songs about these Cuban musicians that no one is doing anything with. And we got Chiara aboard, so I got to write with Chiara, and Chiara wrote the screenplay, and Alex Lacamoire did the music direction and wrote the score. So it's a full-on Heights reunion, and I'm really proud of it. And one of the things I love was that Chiara added this character that was not in the original version, named Gabby. It was based on her sister, who was named Gabby, and Gabby is just like, she's just the kid we all would be if no one ever told us we were cringe or we tried too hard. She's just like unapologetically herself and is proud of it. And I love her so much. It's so fun to write for her. And so I wrote the song for her called My Own Drum, and we're gonna do it today.
Yeah!
Singing My Own Drum from Vivo.
We are here at the Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Instrumental. See what I did there? I made a pun. I'm having fun. I'm never done. I'm just the one. I'm bouncing the beat of my own drum. I'm a wild in the world full of ho-hum. I'm a wild young lady, but you know some. I'd rather be at home with my own drum. Extra, extra. Read all about it. I am extra, extra. The kid that the other kids can't get next to. I got my own seat on the bus. I always been a me, not a us. You're at a 10. I need you at a 3. Ha! Try that again. I gotta be me. Yo, I'm at a 10. I gotta be free. And I got a friend where a dream memory. Bouncing the beat of my own drum. I'm a wild in a world full of ho-hum. I'm a wild young lady, but you know some. I'd rather be at home with my own drum solo. I have always flown solo. I speed up when the world's in slow-mo. Make it up as I go when I don't know. And I know it seems like I'm lonely. People assume that I'm lonely. Look at the stuff, you assume that you know me, homie. You don't know me, I'm in the zone. We bounce to the beat of our own drum. We're a wild in a world full of ho-hum. I'm a wild young lady, but you know some. I'd rather be at home in my own drum. I'm a bounce to the beat of my own drum. I'm a wild in a world full of ho-hum. I'm a wild young lady, but you know some. I'd rather be at home with my own drum. Bounce! Yeah! Bounce! Bounce! Where'd you go, huh?
Of our time, and I just wanted to be in that room, and I wanted to. He'd never worked on a musical before, and the script was so good, and so it's funny. Like I didn't feel like I didn't know those characters. I feel like we all know those characters so well. I'm a Lion King completist. I have seen the direct-to-video sequels, Justice for Lion King 1.5. I watched The Lion Guard. Have you heard Chris Jackson in The Lion Guard? So good. So those songs are great. So to me, The Lion King didn't feel like one movie that was intimidating to follow up. It felt like this shared universe, especially the Broadway musical On This Block that is just so brilliant. and really expanded the language. So, I did two things. I said I need to work with Lebo because I knew that to me, he is the voice, the connective tissue of all of the different Lion King stories and the music, and what he brings to the music is only he can bring. And then the other thing was getting a chance to write the kinds of Disney songs that the Disney movies I'd worked on just didn't have. So to get to write a really great villain song for Mads Mikkelsen, I mean, like if you ever pictured a lion smoking a cigarette, that's what I pictured. While he was writing this tune, just like, bye-bye. And that was delicious to write. And then the other thing I hadn't had a chance to write was like the old school, early 90s, like Disney ballad, like that Peabo Bryson shit, like that Beauty and the Beast, A Whole New World, Kiss the Girl, which I rewound 1,000 times as a kid. I really wanted to write one of those, and the script created an amazing opportunity for it, because there was a line of dialogue where Sarabi is cornering Mufasa and forcing him to confront his feelings. She says, "I know it's you." And I was like, "Thank you, that's the title, I'll take it from here." And here to sing it is Josh, Henry, and Aneesa Folds.
Yeah!
Ever since you appeared, I've been running from something deep inside. It's worse than I fear, 'cause I look in your eyes and I can't hide when I push you away. Don't push me away. When the feelings come back just twice as strong, I don't know what to say. You know just what to say, but I know that I'm right where I belong. You know just what to be. I don't know the way you see you sing, the way you feel and roll with me beside me. Don't hide from me anymore. Tell me it's you. I know it's you. What do I say? Where do I go? How do I know you'll feel the same? Tell me it's you. I know it's you. Quiet and low, letting it go, letting you know it's in me. Everywhere that I roam, I remind myself not to overstay. Every time I find home, something happens to take that home away. But you see what I'm seeing, I see you as you leave with the strength that shines right through. To move like a queen, to true queen. Don't let anyone take me away from you. Tell me it's you, I know it's you. Say it again, tell me I'll always be with you. Tell me it's you, I know it's you. Say it again, tell me you're always with me. You know just where to be. Now I know the way you see. I see you love with you, you're with me. Beside me, beside me. Say it again, tell me the world will feel. Say it again, tell me the words I want to hear. Say it again, open your eyes and here we go. I know it's you. I know it's you.
I want to say one music nerd thing about that song, because I know Howard is probably here and he likes to dissect and deconstruct my music on YouTube, and he does it very beautifully. There's a weird thing with the Mufasa songs, which is most times when you change keys in a song, you go up because you want like the music to lift and go and exciting. This is the only one I can think of where the two times we change keys, we change down. So when I always wanted a brother, they go from being like, "Oh, kids, you, I always wanted a brother." We shift down, and I think that feels like them becoming more themselves. Now we did it again, like I loved it so much on I Always Wanted a Brother that we did it again for Tell Me It's You, because they're going from like not fully embracing who they are and how they feel into who they are and how they feel. So it's this, the rare down, key change down. Sorry, that was my music nerdery moment. We can go back to you.
Yes, I love it.
Came to me with the phrase, "Tell me it's you, I know it's you." I think I had that, and then I had to earn it with the rest of the song. You know, sometimes you get a really great idea for like one line, and it's like, okay, now I have to earn this line because this is really cool, so what is the opposite of this so that this feels surprising? I always wanted a brother was the opposite. I actually started with a bass groove that Nicholas Bertel had made when he was doing early explorations with, you know, on the movie and what the movie could sound like. And so I grabbed that bass line, started running over it, then the first thing I got was, hey, did your mama say you could be out this late? So I had that, and I really liked that. And then I started writing the story elements beforehand to build into that. And then I always wanted a brother came out of nowhere. Like it just felt like the most different place we could go. And that I have no explanation for. Like sometimes your job is to just build the runway so that the plane of inspiration knows where to land. And I built the first verse, and I built the first chorus, and I didn't know where I was going. And then, I came out of nowhere. And I'm very grateful it did, because now everybody gets on singing it. But yeah, so I mean, it's every song is totally different. Like just like every birth, like every story is totally different.
You recently dropped an incredible album, Warriors. I take it everyone in this room has it on their phone like I do. Let's talk about your relationship with the film, because correct me if I'm wrong, this was an idea that popped up way back when, and you said, "Oh, I'll never write that." Correct?
Yes, that's right. I had just written In the Heights, and a college classmate of mine, Phil Westgren, he was working as an assistant to the producer Larry Gordon, and he said, "I work for Larry Gordon. Warriors the musical." Just sent me a cold email, and I went, "I've seen the Warriors more than any other movie. It'll never work." And I wrote him this email why I thought it wouldn't work, but like just the fact that he suggested it kind of was like incepted me, and it just stayed in my brain. And so I would find when I wasn't working on anything, I would be thinking about, well, maybe if we did this, well, maybe if we did that. To the point where when I finally was not in Hamilton anymore and looked up and thought, what do I want to do next? You know how in Inside Out, she's got like the different islands in her brain? There's like Friendship Island and Family Island. I like had a whole Warriors Island that had been just kind of quietly percolating. And I thought I knew, I figured out how to do it. So it was a couple of years getting the rights from Paramount. And then I said, I can't do this alone. I need someone much smarter and cooler than me. And so I called my old friend Aneesa Davis, who was in... She was in Passing the Strange the same year we were in The Heights, and our casts were really close when we were kind of navigating the off-Broadway to Broadway thing together. So we've been friends since then, and she's really close friends with Kiara. And she had never seen the movie. And so that was great too, because she had a sort of a critical distance on the structure of it that I didn't have. It imprinted on my brain when I was 4 years old, and you know, it was so amazing to have her working on it with me. And we've been writing it for the past 3 years, and we came out with the album last October. These guys are on the album. Kurt was our vocal director for the entire album and all of the arrangements. I just kept calling Kurt and being like, okay, you're going to be in a room with Shensia tomorrow. Okay, you're going to be in a room with Mark Anthony tomorrow. Like, it was just increasingly ludicrous assignments.
I mean, the artists on the album, we've talked about this. Unbelievable. Lauren Hill, Billy Porter, the folks on this stage. I mean, how'd you get all these folks on your album, Lynn? How'd you get them on?
Several.
Yes, he's Lynn, that's right. Yeah, I was answering your question.
But also there was love for the movie. Nas, this is like Nas's favorite movie, and so when he came aboard as an executive producer, he really helped us out in terms of explaining what this was to artists who, you know, were used to making their own albums and writing their own lyrics. Like,
because Lauren Hill, she doesn't record anyone else's stuff, right? That's like
it's very rare. She's
yeah,
a couple of covers. I mean, you know, she covered "Killing Me Softly," and it's the version we listen to now. So when she does it, it's really amazing. And we were so grateful. I managed to meet her manager, and you know, we sent her the demo. We sent her actually a demo with Aneesa singing the song. So it's Aneesa singing "If You Can Count," and that's the version Ms. Hill heard. And then we just got a Dropbox one day, and it had all these vocals, and she had brought in her own folks and brought in background vocalists and added to the harmonies of what was already there. And so what you hear is a mix of what we originally sent her and then this incredible tapestry she sent us back. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Public. I'm thrilled. You will hear the voice of the twice Oscar-nominated Coleman Domingo over the speakers. And here's Still Breathing starring Miss Aneesa Folds. Yeah, right.
You're still alive. Cyrus unified a city in discrete pieces. Cyrus was the one and only, the streets Jesus. Cyrus said you can't survive alone, you need your demon. Cyrus told these kids, wake up and start dreaming. Some demons shot Cyrus at 1:15 this evening. It forced me to find a reason to welcome the heathen. Trying to focus, but we haven't even had a dream. What are you doing? Tell me, can you believe it? But you're still breathing. Cyrus is still breathing. Cyrus, I'm sorry you dreamed of peace, but we still peeping. I should you dream of peace, but it's killing season. Won't stop until the trees in the field of the seas bleeding. I'll only need is leading us to the warriors. Who are the warriors? Clean away the fuck up and tell me what your story is. Watch what you say. May I say that forgive me, but it's the inside of me decided you get to live, see? I know you can hear me. Clear. You in a pickle. If I were you, I would start talking right now.
Not to do this. I didn't do this. I never do this. Come here, rid of my body with bruises. That's what the truth is.
Tell me the truth, man.
The truth is, you had me confused with my accusers. I saw them shoot Miss Cyrus. It was the crew in the shooter. I had a bandana gray hoodie under a crew vest. Cause I saw what he was doing. I came here to be a part of what that motherfucker ruined. We came to hear the truth and be moved in your movement. We came away from Coney to see the one only do it.
So here's the rest of the truth,
No
man.
fucking idea, man. Come on, set me free and let me see it, let me breathe again. I'm the one who makes it come all the way uptown. Now I'm the one you gotta for a battle with the barrel of a gun. Where's a gun? If I am guilty, then where's my gun? You better kill me, then have me done. You know the warriors and I'm a run. But who will be king if you? Why didn't you? Wouldn't be sitting here beating up women you lose a momentum, but you let me live it. You get it away. You listen to me. Doesn't treat me. I'ma help you find the one who killed the we can still go and rebuild the world until we make some peace. Cyrus was speaking. What are you doing? They kill everything you believe in. You believe in. What are you doing? They kill everything you believe in. You believe in. What are you doing? They kill everything you believe in. You breathing. You keep breathing. You keep believing.
Cut free. Come with me.
That's Aneesa Folds. I've seen a ton. I loved Maybe Happy Ending. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's so wonderful to get new musicals that we just, it's amazing to walk in and have no idea what's going to happen and then just be so floored and moved. And there's a lot of stuff coming in the spring I'm really excited for. I'm getting to do my first comedy. I'm in All In down the street. And to me, this is like I'm learning so much. I haven't been in a non-musical since college. And to get to sit next to some of the funniest people alive, from Edie Bryant to Annalee Ashford to David Cross, Tim Meadows, Andrew Rannells. I just think every night I'm learning something new about how comedy works and the tension and release and how it relates to songwriting for me. And so I just feel like I'm getting another tool to put in my DeVry technical toolkit as a writer. And yeah, just the writing is so funny. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about this year. I'm excited to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Hamilton with you guys. Lots of other things we've got here. I know there was some rumor that we're doing some Taylor Swiftian tour. I have no Taylor Swiftian tour for you. But what I have is just, we're gonna do lots of little shit all year. Like, we're gonna try to do Ham for Hams. We're gonna try to do, like, there's gonna be lots of stuff. I didn't want to do one big thing. I wanted to just celebrate all year with you guys. I cannot tell you how grateful I am that I get to write for a living. I would be writing these songs even if I was still teaching at Hunter and no one was listening to them. But the fact that anyone cares what I'm writing, and I've gotten to work with the amazing artists I work with, and the fact that you guys come out means that absolute world to me. So I just feel very, very grateful in this moment.
Give it up for Lin-Manuel Miranda. Kurt, Shockwave, Aneesa, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming out.
Kurt Crowley,
Josh, Henry, Aneesa Folds. This is just Shockwave.
See you at the show. Hi. Okay, you just sang the heck out of these songs. What was that like being on the stage?
Amazing. I'm gonna say yes to everything Lin asked, and yeah, I mean, I'm such a fan of all of the musicals, so why not? It was a dream to get to sing like Moana and In the Heights and Bring It On and everything. Yeah, really, really fun.
You and Joshua Henry singing In the Heights?
Yeah.
My dream.
He's a dream. And
Yeah.
so kind and so talented, and yeah, I'm starstruck. So.
I'm starstruck. And had you sung Moana before? That far I'll go?
In my shower.
In my shower too. And I've sung in my shower. Anyway, this is the weird energy I like to bring to a podcast or a vlog.
It's okay, it's going great.
It's going really, really well. But so Lin, FLS, that's how did you first get involved with like the Linverse?
I was a fan first. In the Heights, my friend Gaudi told me to listen to the album. I listened to it on a choir trip to Prague. And then when I got back, we went and saw the show. I don't know if I went with her, but then I went a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, she told me about Freestyle of Supreme. I went and saw Freestyle of Supreme when I was in high school. And I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted to do. I can do that.
Yes!
So,
and then you did it!
And then I did the academy, and Shockwave was my teacher. And then they were like, I graduated from college for musical theater, so I was auditioning and stuff. And then after I did the academy, they were like, we're looking for women for Broadway. And
Wow.
I auditioned, and then my best friend came, and the lady walked in the room, and then I was on all the time.
Yes!
Got to be in the show with my idols, so yeah.
Oh my god, I love the two of you so much. And then last thing, tell everyone where they can find you next.
Yeah, like on Instagram or
Well,
on stage?
like on March 3rd.
Oh, okay. I'm doing my own show called Why Am I Here? It's going to be Monday, March 3rd at 7 p.m. The tickets are going to drop soon. They're not dropped yet.
Okay.
So, real exclusive. Show's getting the first
Let's
exclusive.
go.
Come through.
Come through.
If you like fun and magic and crazy stuff and something a little weird and different, dare I say.
That's what I want. Thanks for watching BroadwayCon. See you at the show.
I'm sitting here and like my life is flashing before my eyes.